Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Today from the airport, because we're headed to Los Angeles for a very cool event, which we'll have news on very soon. Today's rundown is going out to DH, who says, love this show, and also Dylan Hyman, who says he found us through Re-Res, and he's glad that he did. Thank you so much for watching. Here's your rundown. It looks like Nintendo's already started to reassemble the Triforce. Just a year and a half after the release of Breath of the Wild, a new Legend of Zelda game is apparently in the works. That's according to a job listing posted on the official Nintendo Japan website, looking for 3D designers and level designers to work on a new Zelda-related project. The most interesting bit is that the job postings require a background in creating in-game events, which could refer to traditional story events or something more modern like online multiplayer events. This would make this new project the first big multiplayer Zelda game. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, keep in mind that no other details are provided, so this could just be another remake of a classic game or a new expansion for Breath of the Wild. Whatever it is, the project is likely still in the very early stages of development, so don't expect to be playing it for at least a few years. I think it makes a tremendous amount of sense for Nintendo to dive right back into this massive Hyrule that they created for us for Breath of the Wild and get us something sooner rather than later, just like they did with Ocarina of Time, followed by Majora's Mask on the Nintendo 64. Breath of the Wild is still my favorite game of all time. I would be very happy to explore new adventures using the same assets, maybe mixing things up a little bit. A multiplayer component would be huge, but the thing that I want the most out of a Zelda game is to be able to play as Zelda. I think that the Adventures of Link and all of the Zelda games have been phenomenal titles, and they've appealed to lots of people. I played through many of them with my little girl, and I would love for her to play as a female heroine in The Legend of Zelda. It would be great to see Zelda save Link for once. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that one. The negative reception to Diablo Immortal is starting to hurt Blizzard in more ways than one. The stock value of Activision Blizzard dropped sharply on Monday following the negative reaction to the new mobile game. It dropped 7.2%, closing on Monday at $64 a share, down from $69 when the markets opened that morning. This is bad news for Blizzard and Activision, especially when you consider that the company was already planning to announce their third quarter earnings later this week, which could hurt their stock value even more. On the other hand, many analysts predict that Activision Blizzard will win out in the long run, with Diablo Immortal expected to be a very popular and profitable game despite the initial negative reaction. We'll just have to wait and see. It's amazing what negative publicity can do for stock prices out there, for sure. I understand the anger and the hostility about the idea that the next Diablo is going to be mobile only. I understand where that's coming from. I think it's a little bit crazy, and I don't know if fans of Blizzard can really understand what all of that griping and complaining can do to a company that you love. I mean, I guess they could have put a Diablo 4 graphic up on screen to appease people, and it didn't do that, but we all know Diablo 4 is coming. I think it's crazy how much that people were just railing against Blizzard for not making them a PC game right now. I guess it was BlizzCon, and it was a big fan event, and maybe the audience was expecting something spectacular for the money that they paid. I can understand the complaints around this stuff. What's crazy about all this is that I know Diablo Immortal is probably going to be great, and it's probably going to be a huge success on tablets and smartphones. But yeah, it's interesting how, you know, fan fervor can work against companies like this, at least for a little while. The game that kicked off the Battle Royale craze might finally be jumping to a new platform. It looks like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is coming to the PS4 later this month. At the time we're filming this, no official announcements have been made, but users have discovered several references to the game hidden on Sony's PSN servers, indicating that a release is imminent. PUBG has been available on the PC and Xbox One since last year, but couldn't come to the PS4 until now due to a timed exclusivity deal between publisher Bluehole and Microsoft. The PS4 might just be the thing the game needs right now. It's seen a noticeable drop in popularity in recent months, so it'll be interesting to see how big it is on the new platform. I think it's great that PUBG is coming to the PlayStation 4. I think it's definitely a suitable platform for that audience. I think that the game is great. It's proven itself over time, and I guess what happens now is that that expanded audience, or that potential expanded audience, will give the publisher and the developers a little bit more money that they can work on to create more content, which is the only way that PUBG remains relevant, especially in the face of bigger games like Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I just hope PUBG just keeps getting better and better. DC and Warner Brothers are really draining the swamp for their next small screen project. The new TV series, Swamp Thing, based on the dark comic series of the same name, has found its lead actors. Deadline reports that Halloween Sheriff Will Patton will play the show's main villain, businessman Avery Sunderland, opposite Teen Wolf star Crystal Reed as the main character Abby Holland, the human who befriends the titular Swamp Thing. No word yet on who will play the big green guy himself, but we do know that the show is being produced by director James Wan. He's best known for directing low-budget horror movies, so expect a more frightening tone than traditional superhero adventures. Then again, Wan's latest project is the big-screen Aquaman movie, so maybe it will have a little bit of both. Swamp Thing will premiere next year on the streaming service DC Universe. Man, I remember Swamp Thing from that old cheesy movie back in the day. Adrienne Barbeau, I think, was in it. She was a good-looking woman. That's about what I remember the most. And the cheesy rubber suit of Swamp Thing. I think James Wan overseeing this production was a very good move on Warner Brothers and DC's part. Definitely interesting storylines to mine. I know they've had lots of great runs of Swamp Thing in the comics. You know, I think they could do something pretty fun here. It's fun playing as Swamp Thing in the Injustice game, I gotta tell you that. Color me curious. I'm excited to see what all of these very talented people do with Swamp Thing. Now, Aquaman director James Wan has dived into big-budget tentpole filmmaking, but there's still lots of money to be made in low-budget horror movies. With the new Halloween movie from director David Gordon Green crossing more than $229 million worldwide, the film's production company, Blumhouse Productions, has cut through a big record of its own. The company's films have now collectively earned more than $4 billion worldwide, which is pretty impressive when you consider that almost all Blumhouse movies have been made for less than $5 million. Producer Jason Blum founded Blumhouse in the year 2000, and their first big hit was 2009's Paranormal Activity, which earned $200 million from a mere $15,000 budget. Other big Blumhouse hits include Sinister and James Wan's Insidious. This just shows the insane profitability of horror movies, which can be made for a very low budget and are a lot less risky than expensive studio movies like, say, Aquaman. Yeah, you can't stop these horror movie juggernauts, man. It's unbelievable how much money all of these things make, and I think it's partially to do with the lower budget and partially to do with the inventiveness of the filmmakers, because I think a lot of people get addicted to these things because these filmmakers are all trying to one-up each other, and they come with different sort of tricks and different cinematic kind of hooks, no pun intended. And I think we also get addicted to how much gore and how much these things can make us squirm, you know? And I think Jason Blum, as smart as he is, kind of recognized that filmmakers like to kind of run with that, you know? Give them a little bit of money and show off their skills. And James Wan has excelled with that. Look, he's running the Aquaman show now, which is kind of crazy. If your companions in Red Dead Redemption 2 are mysteriously vanishing, Rockstar is coming to help. The publisher has announced that they're working on a fix for the game's camp glitch, which has been reported by many users. The bug occurs after players have completed Chapter 2 and causes your companions Sadie, Jack, John, and Abigail to disappear from the main camp, so you can't interact with them unless you're on a mission. Rockstar says they're aware of the problem and are working on a solution which will be included in the next title update. No word on when that will arrive. Rockstar is also working on the game's multiplayer component, Red Dead Online. That will let players create their own character and then join up with their friends to go out on missions and engage in other activities throughout the map, similar to GTA Online. It will be free for all players, and a beta test is scheduled to begin later this month. I've been lucky. I did not encounter that glitch. I've been able to see all of my different gang members as I progress through Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm much past Chapter 2 now. I'm deep into this game. I'm not quite ready to give you guys my final thoughts on my, the whole experience and the entirety of the campaign that I've been playing through. It is a massive, massive game, and it's good that Rockstar is following up with some patches. But I will save my thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2 for another day. And that wraps us up for the rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode. In the meantime, check out all the other content we've been making. And if you dig it, hit subscribe, hit that little bell. You can join up and become an EPN member. And remember, we've got EPN merch at epn.tv/merch. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Play forever.